Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honors, as always, to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. Another episode going into news and prophecy as we link the things that are happening before our very eyes, all right, to the Holy Scriptures via prophecy, all right, to warn, all right, to exhort, all right, the faithful believers in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, all right, as these words are faithful and true. Everything that is happening right before our very eyes in the world, all right, whether it be the false prophets in Israel, whether it be, all right, the madness that's going on amongst the people as we're seeing, you know, the love of many wax cold, you know, all of these murders and just evil, tacky, you know, terroristic behavior, which all is a result of sin running rampant. The scriptures say, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. We have the wars, we have the rumors of wars, the rise of apostasy, which are things we'll address in other videos. But here today, in this episode, we're going to address a few things that are leading towards, all right, one of the most important prophecies of this time, which is the MOTB, all right, you know, which is going to be a fulfillment of what our forefather John the Revelator saw on the Isle of Patmos, which foreshadowed everything that we're going through, this digital hub being built, as we know, on the back of the dollar bill itself. All right, the Latin writing reads, all right, annuit conceptus, all right, novos ordo seclorum. The gods have granted us permission to establish our new secular order, or our new, all right, WORLD order. All right, and this is where we are. As you know, it's very interesting that they would put that on the back of the dollar bill, you see, seeing as though the old world, all right, and the old way ends, all right, with the end of paper money. And the new way, as John the Revelator explained it, is going to require, all right, a particular mark, okay, a particular mark that you will be required to receive, a physical mark, all right, in order to buy and sell. And we're witnessing that system be established. We're going to get into a few things. This is off of Redacted, and I just noticed this owl here. All right, you have a lot of controlled opposition, but nonetheless, you know, as the scriptures say, their own tongues would fall on themselves, and they are bringing out things that are true. All right, we have to make sure as we bring these things out that we vet this information and bring it out according to the scriptures, because there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of fake news out there. But one thing that we do know is that the elites and the rulers of this world, all right, these unelected officials who none of you voted for, are pretty much giving you the direction that they want the world to go. And pretty much in order for you to live a normal life on earth, all right, without persecution, being able to provide for yourself, being able to sell your product or whatever it may be, you will have to enter yourself into a digital hub. All right. And there's all kind of things happening, all right, that are going to justify them establishing this system. All right. And we've seen from 2020 with the VID situation, the 1-9. Okay. We've seen from that point going forward, that gave them, you know, the go ahead to put things in place. All right. And now we're pretty much a few catastrophic events away, all right, from those things actually fully establishing themselves and being the standard of life. You know, you entering into this digital hub, as we see going here to this website real quick. This is End Time Headlines. As we see, there's a talk of a bird flu spreading across America. You got people with bleeding eyes. They're showing you, another scare tactic. But this could be the next thing. We know some months ago they talked about disease X, which this could be a part of that. We don't know, but we know, all right, there's a hell of a lot of chicken in America. All right, so the bird flu, which they said spread to cows, which can spread to humans, which when you break it down, it doesn't make sense. But we know that this company here, as you see, CDC issues urgent warning against drinking raw milk as bird flu appears in herds in 9 states infected. And these are all plagues associated with end times. But again, we know that this company or this corporation, whatever the hell you want to call it, all right, when you look at the name of it, Center of Dis-ease Control. So they control these things, and they have the ability to release these things into particular neighborhoods so that they weaponize human beings and they spread it for them. So a lot is happening. Again, we're just a few events away from them, all right, going full blown. We need to establish this order. So let's check this out. All right, WEF. All right, the place where they meet is in Davos, Switzerland, the highest place in Europe, which makes it a high place where the heathen offer up their sacrifices. These unelected officials who are telling you we need to do this, we need to do that. They're telling you about, the climate thing. They're telling you we need to do this. They're talking about the 4th Industrial Revolution where man will be merged with machine. Here they're admitting that cash will soon be illegal. And here's how their plan works. So let's listen to this.
Well, the banks are on the verge of collapse, hundreds of them, as Americans are scrambling to get their money out of these banks. That's not me saying this. This is CNBC News, front page news, now finally reporting what we've been warning about for years on this show. The house of cards is coming down. So we'll get to that part of it in a second with these banks collapsing. But first, cash.
You know what's so funny? So I used to work for CNBC, and I would show up for these segments, panel segments, right? And I would say, well, I'm really worried about the U.S. dollar because of this. And I would share some books, and they'd be like, oh, okay. Like the fellow panelists, they just were supremely unconcerned about some, like, yeah, whatever, people say that, they're doom and gloom. They showed no interest when I was working there.
Well, now they do, apparently, because it's undeniable. And now you have the Fed saying these stress tests of these small banks, you had the Treasury Secretary a month ago, you had Jerome Powell about a month and a half ago saying that these small banks are facing severe strains, and a lot of them are going to collapse. They're going to be gobbled up, of course, by the larger banks. They told us this, and now CNBC acknowledging this, that is front page news. So we'll get there in a second, though. But first, one way to control a population, of course, is to control everything that you buy.
And I forget the demon's name that says, "Give me control of your money. Give me control of a nation's money." Let's see if I can look it up here. Give me control, all right, of a nation's money, and I care not. That was a statement. Give me control of a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes its laws. And as you can see, the people who supposedly, are over your laws and your everyday civil rights, they're being overridden or overwritten by these particular people, all right, at WEF, UN, people you have no idea who the hell they are. They just pop up, all right, people over the WHISO, right? These people are going to be at the forefront of, all right, the way that you live. And your everyday civil rights are getting ready to be abandoned. They already have been. But he says, give me control of a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes its laws. That was Mayor Amschel, all right, Rothschild, all right, founder of the Rothschild baking dynasty. And we know in German, the name Rothschild means red shield. Why would they put the term red shield on themselves? We know there's a story around surrounding it. But we know overall the Heavenly Father via the angels is in control. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. So he put the spirit on them to name themselves Red Shield. For what? All right, so that we can link it to biblical prophecy. All right, this great red beast that will be ruling in end time prophecy, which is synonymous with Esau, Edom. All right, so let's go back.
Population, of course, is to control everything that you buy, and the best way to do that is to eliminate cash, because with cash you can remain anonymous. One of the largest banks in Australia, I don't know how to say this in Australian English. Macquarie Bank, I'm going to say Macquarie Bank, just announced it's going cashless. And it will not allow customers to deposit or withdraw cash or...
And if you're noticing, banks that are around you are disappearing. And when you go to the banks, they're telling you this location currently isn't allowing you to withdraw over this amount of cash, or you can't, withdraw cash at all. I've seen it a few times. All right. Remember the days of going to the ATM? Well, that's kind of like, being X'd out. That's a thing of the past. All right.
Checks from its office branches starting this month. Reserve Bank data in April shows Australians then ran to the ATMs, according to Malcolm Roberts, and they made 30 million ATM cash withdrawals, amounting to 9.5 billion. In February, up from 3.6 from February 2023. And that number is skyrocketing. So Australians are trying to get their money out, whatever cash they can from these banks. But guess what? They're going to be going to these ATMs finding out that there's not a lot in there, and there's not going to be cash available for them. Australians are now protesting this. Here's a group of protesters who say, we need cash. Please do not take away our cash. Listen.
Cashless society, that sort of just means that they can track us, they can make new rules, and if we don't apply by those rules, well then they can cut our bank accounts. So if we don't have cash, we need to keep our freedoms, we need to keep our cash.
And the WEF is moving full steam ahead right now with its plans to remove cash, because you can't control people if I'm able to pay for things that you don't know about, right? If I want to pay the gardener, if I want to, not that I do illicit drugs, but whatever I want to do. If I can use cash to do it, you can't control me, right? I want to pay someone for a used car, right? I want to pay in cash, which is how a lot of used car transactions take place, right?
Right.
I want to sell a computer. I sold something the other day, just cash.
Air filter.
Yeah, I sold an air filter, cash, right? So many businesses are already making the move to digital only, no cash allowed, like this pub in Britain.
Okay, so where are we? We're in Winchester. Yeah, and are you refusing cash? And what's your name?
My name's Izzy, I'm the assistant manager.
Okay, so you're the assistant manager in the pub in Winchester, and you're adamant that you can't take a national currency.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all I've got.
Okay, I'm afraid I can't tell you anything today, unfortunately.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Even though I can personally sue you for up to £9,000.
If you don't accept cash,
You're not allowed to operate. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You cannot refuse legal tender. You cannot refuse legal tender.
DeRoy's.
So, I have this pulled up here. I'm going to read it. What can be done, if the money goes digital. All right. And you don't have cash. Well, every transaction will be known to the central bank. All right. Restrictions can be imposed universally or individually. Location limits can be applied, things like 15-minute cities. All right. You can't purchase outside of a particular zone. Okay. And we know that's coming. You won't be able to, the scriptures talks about how a man won't be able to go into a particular city. Okay. Food purchases can be rationed by quality or type. In China, if your social credit score is under a certain limit, then you won't be able to buy certain things. Okay. They're able to say, well, due to climate restrictions, all right, we can only give out so much of this product or so much of that product. We're limiting beef, cattle products. We're limiting this product because we need to save the climate. They can impose something like that. The whole carbon restrictions. They can say people shouldn't drive this far. All right. You can only get a certain amount of this or that. It basically can limit you in so many ways. It says quantitative limits can be applied to anything. Okay, the quantity of how much you can get can be applied to anything. All right, because we're in this crazy catastrophic situation. All right, it says general limits on spending can be set. Expiry dates for any fraction of your money can be set. So like right now, if you have a dollar from the 80s, it's still, you can still use it. You know what I'm saying? But with the CBDC, all right, after so much time, that, you know, that money can be ultimately expired. You see what I'm saying? To where now, you know, you had this much saved up, you had this much credits. Well, after a certain amount of time, if it's not spent, all right, it can expire. This is the power that they can have if and when this central bank digital currency is set up. And that's ultimately what they want. This gives them the ability to act as God on earth. Okay, it says certain products can be blocked: guns, ammo, gasoline. Right? We're not selling you that. You know, this what we deem legal currency. You can't buy that with this. Okay, any kind of travel requiring tickets can be restricted. Okay, absolutely any transaction can be blocked arbitrarily. Taxes and fines can just be taken. All right. You can be kept out of a stock market. If you don't have CBDC, you can't buy or sell anything. All right. Most likely barter will be made illegal. All right. Because again, barter systems, which, you know, for a while you'll be able to still wiggle around, but bartering, you know, if the only thing they're accepting as legal currency is a central bank digital currency, then you won't be able to sell, you know, the food you have stocked or whatever it is that people will try to, you know, because once this system comes, people are going to be, you know, maybe cash will still be legal in certain places. People will set up a barter system. You give me this certain amount of cash, I can give you this. Boom. But if they just do away with the cash, see, altogether, then ultimately a barter system wouldn't work, because again, that cash that you're giving them won't be accepted anymore. Okay. And again, how does this line up prophetically? As we know, the scriptures say at the end it shall speak. Let's get the book of Revelation. All right. The 13th chapter. And let's just jump straight to the point. We all know what this says. And again, if you're wondering why we bring this up so much, well, when you read Revelation, the 14th chapter, the new song, let's get that real quick. The new song itself is associated with a hardcore warning against this system that these wicked people are trying to set up. All right. So if your teacher isn't constantly talking about the MOTB, all right, and warning against it, then they're not singing a new song fully. They've taken out some of the lyrics, which means it's leaven in their doctrine. When you deal with the new song being sung, it's a warning. Okay. The warning is this: Revelation 14:6. And I saw another angel, vision of the angel with the gospel. Okay. Angel means messenger, but we know that this word that we have received comes from the heavens. So this angel represents those speaking, all right, on the planet Earth, all right, because the angels give through the Most High, through Yahweh Shai. There's angels sent to give a message to men on earth to speak, all right, and this is how prophecy goes forward. So it says, I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth. And what is the purpose of the everlasting gospel? Let's get Matthew 24. Let's get Matthew, the 24th chapter, and I believe the 14th verse. Real quick. The purpose of the everlasting gospel is that the end comes. Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And the internet does the heavy lifting in that. And then shall the end come. So the end can't come unless this everlasting gospel goes out, which is synonymous with the new song. Okay. Which, as the powers that be are telling you to fear them, their science, their God, take their form of salvation, we're telling you no. So this puts us in a very, very tight situation. All right. So I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to them that dwell on the earth. All right. Are angels literally on the earth preaching? Well, if you look up the word angel, it's messenger. So the men of the Lord are angels in the sense that we have a message from Yahweh through Yahweh Shai. All right. But we're in flesh. We have this treasure in earthen vessels. All right. So preach to them that dwell on the earth, the everlasting gospel to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, because we know Israel, the kindred, all right, is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. However, even the heathen would have to hear this message before the judgment goes out. But the message of salvation is to the kindred, all right, which are tied to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. We're telling you judgment is coming. And worship him that made heaven and earth and sea and the fountains of water. All right. As this world is pushing you from worshiping Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. You know, pushing all of this madness onto you. We're telling you, no, fear the Most High. All right, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, fear Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen. So the end is going to come from this message. All right, Babylon is going to fall from this message going out. Okay, now when you get to verse 9, as we get into the intricacies of the new song that these men would be singing, Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them with a loud voice, saying, if any man worship the beast, all right, Esau, Edom, all right, this system and his image, the ways of the system, the idols tied to it, the way of governing, all right, the healing, medical practices, everything that we see being pushed onto you, all right, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. See? So basically a judgment is going to come to you. You see what I'm saying? This is why after that message goes out, verse 12 says, I'll read this in the NLT. It says, this means that God's holy people who are set apart, who are not bowing to the beast, his image, his mark, must endure persecution patiently, obeying his commands and maintaining their faith in Yahweh Shai. All right. And the command is to not bow the knee to the image of Baal. All right. And again, we follow the laws of the land, right? We stop at the stop sign. We pay our taxes. We do what we have to do to get through everyday life. We're not out here disrupting, you know, this man's society. You know, we do go out and preach. All right. But overall, we know that there's going to come a point where we have to say no. And as that message is going out not to do these things, we have to understand that in Revelation 13, this power structure, this beast is telling you, all right, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in his right hand or in his forehands. All right. Now, as you read, okay, let's read calls it. He calls it. This is what's coming. This is why this is all happening. All right. He calls it poeho. All right. To make. All right. To cause. To acquire. To make a thing out of something. To constitute. Appoint one. Anything to appoint. Ordain. All right. So you're going to have a choice. Okay. To declare anything, all right, to execute, all right, to make ready, to institute. And this is what they're instituting, all right, small and great, rich and poor, to receive, all right, didomai, to receive, didomi, to give something to someone for his advantage. Well, the advantage you'll have if you take this will be you will be able to buy and sell. And again, it's going to start out as a digital currency that may be on a device or on a card. But we know that eventually these people have a plan to govern people from the inside of their bodies. OK, so how are they going to do that? all right, through the fourth industrial revolution, merging man with machine. How's that happen? Well, John the Revelator just told you, you're going to get a charagma, okay? To bestow a gift is going to be like a gift, a token to enter into this new world, to grant, to give one asking, let have, supply, furnish for necessary things. What do you need to live on earth? You need to be able to eat, all right? You need to be able to have things, all right? In order to have things, right? To give over to one's care, to entrust. You're going to entrust this man with your life and make a covenant with him, okay? Something to be administered. Okay, to give or commit to someone something to be religiously observed. And this is a religion. Okay, this is an idol. Okay, associated with their religion, their belief, their science. To give what is due, obligatory, to pay wages or rewards. So if you want to get paid wages, if you want the rewards of buying and selling, or furnishing your apartment, your house, whatever it may be, you're going to have this. To give one to someone, to follow him as a leader and master. Okay, and that was the purpose of branding. Receiving a brand in ancient time was a mark associated with the ruler. Well, now, okay, that mark is digital. Okay. And you're going to have to receive that in your right hand and your forehead, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the charagma, all right, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, okay, which is associated with the 666, which gives you his plan. Now, we'll go back to that. Let's listen to some more of this. Now, before I finish this, we'll go right back to this. Let's play this video as well, and then we'll go right back to this, but police warn people scrubbing $1 bills and turning them to 100. More reasons to bring in a digital currency. Oh, wow. They took me off of premium. Give me 1 second.
What's the ideal way to lose?
An alert from police. Someone is taking $1 bills and turning them into $100 bills. Authorities say it's happened about a dozen times in the past month. Nikki Schenfeld spoke to a Hilo cashier who was able to spot the difference before it was too late.
A cashier at Ohana Foods Hilo had a feeling something was off when a woman handed her a $100 bill on Saturday.
And she proceeded to tell me that it's an old bill. But I had an old bill in one of our tip jars. And so I pulled out the old bill on the side and I was like, okay, it looks different. It's more of like a yellowish tone versus as the bill she gave me, it was black.
Ramos marked the bill with the counterfeit pen. Yellow means real currency, so she was confused.
I lifted it up one more time, and that's when I noticed the faded $1 marking, and I told her, I was like, you know, like, this is a counterfeit bill. It's not $100, and I'm not able to give it back to you. I will have to report it to the HPD.
The woman gave Ramos another $100 bill, saying the money was from her payroll, but Ramos saw that it was fake too. Ramos says she also noticed faint letters on the fake $100 bill, which the $1 and $2 bill are still printed with today. And the $100 bill has been using this kind of seal since 1996. The woman asked for the money back, but Ramos said no and called police. Hawaii Island police say they've...
So you get it. You see that, you know, now paper money, you know, as we're going to show you in the rest of this video here, some more of this, that paper money is... you know, people are committing crimes with it. It's no longer safe. Let's keep listening to this as well.
In our chat says lots of pubs now in the UK are doing this now. No cash, no cash. Let us know where what part of the world you are in, and are you experiencing this? Whether it's your local coffee shop, your local pubs, let us know. Of course, the British. Here's a British man. He just wanted to go in and buy some strawberries. He just wanted some strawberries last year. And he was told that he couldn't pay with cash anymore, and he's been shopping at this store for years. Watch this.
Tracked and act to buy anything. I'm going to buy some strawberries, and I'm offering exactly the right amount of money here on the help desk. So you people, take that.
So they're not taking money. And this is the beast system that was prescribed in the Bible. Okay, the UK is a part of it. All right. And, you know, they're implementing it, man. So you mean to tell me that none of this that we're seeing has anything to do with John the Revelator saw? Okay, we don't need to see any more of him. We've seen that. Let's keep going here.
I paid for some strawberries in cash. Whoa, dude.
You mean you stole them? No, I paid for them, but I was using the king's legal tender with the king's face on it, and they wouldn't let me do that. Of course, this man is a cautionary tale because the shift to a cashless society could exacerbate existing inequalities, those without access to digital payment methods, of course, such as the elderly, low-income individuals that don't have a free cell phone, like illegal immigrants in the United States, marginalized communities would be disproportionately affected by this. Without cash as a universal means of exchange, these individuals, of course, risk being excluded from economic participation in society. But when the WEF, of course, they know all of this. And so, of course, their goal is to make sure that the government provides digital access to everyone. They'll do it under the guise of simplicity, right? But really, it's about tracking you. And last week, the World Economic Forum held a summit in Saudi Arabia to accelerate their move to an all-digital currency, no cash. During a WEF meeting in Saudi Arabia last week, the central bank governor of Bahrain, Khalid Houmadine, said ordinary people cannot be trusted to spend their money how they see fit. These are the words that came out of his mouth. And the elite must completely ban cash in the near future in favor of a digital solution, he said. Houmadine also then sort of boasted that the general public is going to accept what we tell them to accept because they're going to do this without a struggle because we're going to give them a central bank digital currency. And basically he's saying, you are all sheep, and when the elites speak, you will follow us. Watch him.
And when you're a sheep, what do sheep and cattle need? All right, you would get the awl in your ear to recognize. In the law, you would get a slave would get an awl in his ear. All right, they put the awl in the ear of the cattle, all right, to recognize who's the owner, or you would get a brand. So if they look at the people as sheeple and cattle, I mean, okay, they're gonna have to brand or track their cattle. This is what's happening as they are setting themselves up to be God. If this system is able to be implemented, they win. All right, now it will be implemented for a minute. All right, but if they're able to play something like this out and block out the truth and use AI to, basically target anything that goes against them and eventually, get their plan, they win. All right, this is why we know that we're in the times where the Lord is eventually going to stop them, as the scriptures say, when they are about to fill their belly. All right, then the Heavenly Father is going to, it's going to be a move made. Okay, and we need a higher power more than ever. See, in these times, anybody who's thinking that they can fight their way out of this, that they can buy their way out of this, eventually, all right, you're going to need divine intervention. Okay, it's time out for all of the tough talk. And no, you're not going to win against these people and against this system without divine intervention. Or you could just bow. Okay, take everything that they're saying to do, take the juices they're going to come with when this next demic comes, take the haragma, and let's see how that works out for you.
Listen.
If we think cash is the analog and digital currency is the form of digital, CBDC is the digital form of cash, today clearly we're in a hybrid situation. We're using both. And we know in the past, when it comes to cash, central bankers were very much in control with all aspects of cash. And now we're comfortable to a point where the private sector plays a big role in the printing of the cash, in distribution of the cash, and with the private sector, we use interest rates to manage the supply of cash. The same thing is likely to happen with CBDC. Yes, the central bank will have a role, but at some point in time, the same way we don't call it central bank cash, we're probably going to stop calling it central bank digital currency. It's going to be a digital form of the cash, and at some point in time, hopefully, we'll be able to be 100% digital.
100% digital, and you see the 666.
People are used to it. Right now, is many of our payments are digital. The truth is, I say that we're in a hybrid model. There's less and less use of cash, and I think that from predominantly digital with a little physical, I think the transition to fully digital is not going to be a stretch. People are used to it, people are engaged in it, and Circumstances did help. Its adoption rates increased because of COVID.
Yeah.
This is where contactless started to become something of a necessity, something of a safety, something of a requirement. And because of that, there is very little resistance. Trust is already there. We just need to build it in a way that makes sure that we safeguard the risks. Cybersecurity risk is a must, and it needs to be dealt with at the national level. And there's to
counter cyber risk security, we need to go fully digital. Peace and safety. All right, and all of these different nations are joining together for this system.
For cybersecurity risk, you need to continue to invest, you need to continue to collaborate, and you need to continue to train. With those three things, we've done it in the past. I think we should be able to manage these risks.
Okay, I have a lot of questions there. A lot of questions there.
And I'm sure the infrastructure that just had a massive cyber outage in Britain the other day for their airplanes when they're all grounded. Imagine like the same infrastructure applies to your payments in one afternoon.
Sure.
Right? I mean, this is what we're talking about. The cybersecurity risk was completely...
money is hacked all the time.
Right.
All the time.
What are your questions?
Okay. So first of all, who died from cash during the COVID pandemic?
Didn't you hear?
I know that was the rumor. I would like some data on that.
There's hundreds of thousands of people apparently perished because they were licking cash.
Because
people were licking money and dying. So that's a reason we have to do away with paper money.
They were exchanging money.
Right. Like if I had COVID and I coughed onto like $100 bill, because that's all I carry.
Right. So that's a passé thing to say, that it was necessity of cash.
You would have gotten it. Right. It was a joke. It was ridiculous.
And he's still saying it, so that should be unacceptable to say in civilized society at this point. But the second part that he says, if you read about a great book that I want to suggest is called...
Imagine your auntie licking a 20 before she gives it to you. Remember how back in the day you had the godparents or auntie, the uncle hand you that 20, they lick it before they give it to you. What type of shit is that, man? And as we get closer and closer to the end, the man of sin is going to get more ridiculous, man. You know, that's why anybody who's going to turn their back on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to follow these people, and you're just not worthy. Psalms 29:11, the Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. All you have to do is trust. Psalms 112:1, praise ye Yahweh. Blessed is the man that feareth Yahweh, that delight greatly in his commandments, not Esau's commandments, man. Okay? So the fear is your fear of a higher power and what he can do to you is going to have to be on high. It's going to have to be you're going to have a lot of fear, okay, of the Lord to get through this. All right? Because he told us not to do this. Okay, now again, there will be a point where we're probably most likely using digital currency. That's not going off, okay? But when it comes to you physically altering yourself for the purpose of buying and selling, okay, then you know, you're going to have to separate
layered money, about the history of currency and why currency was ever put in the hands of governments was basically just propaganda. Julius Caesar liked the idea of his face on dollars, and then the Roman Empire could devalue the amount of nickel or whatever metal was in each coin and give themselves more money. So they were not able to resist enriching themselves through the control of a central currency that is controlled by the government. But what he's saying is that since then, private companies have been able to wrestle control already out of these governments, and now they control the cash flow. He said that in the beginning. So no longer are governments in control of money. It's really the globalists, the finances, the bankers. That's an amazing thing to admit out loud, that we've already wrestled control away from global governments. We are, in fact, moving towards a globalist society. Anyone catch that? That's outrageous.
No, it's absolutely the case. They want to. This is what the World Economic Forum wants. They don't want the United States Treasury to be in charge. They want the central banks. They want a few central banks that are controlling all of this money flow. Unelected globalists will control the flow of money. This is why it's okay that these small banks are collapsing, because they're being gobbled up by the conglomerate that are then, when we think about a BlackRock or a Vanguard, it's not like in New York City, it's international, right? So this is already happening. But this is happening right before our eyes. And so he says that you, the people, can trust central banks to do whatever they want. Do you? Do you trust the central banks? He's speaking for you. A lot of people in the chat says, you might want this, meaning that guy. You might want this. We don't. this is a bridge further than we previously heard. Last year, they were telling us that they would go 100% digital, but they wouldn't eliminate cash completely. Like, you'd still have cash. You don't have to worry about that. Now he's admitting the truth. They want to eliminate cash 100%. Those were his words. We want to be 100% digital. And he admits that COVID was a great catalyst for it. Lockdowns, contactless. He said, thank goodness we, basically, thank goodness we had COVID, because contactless managed to flourish under this plan.
Mm-hmm.
So we see it, all right? And also, you have this, all right? Everything is about security. Check this out.
European security risk.
Cybersecurity.
And I would add urgent.
As the world becomes more and more unpredictable, the EU is working to protect its citizens and ensure their security. The nature of threats is constantly evolving, and crises are becoming more and more complex. To address these challenges, the European Commission has adopted a 360-degree approach to...
Crises are becoming more and more complex. So we need a digital approach to, again, bring a solution.
Security. What is the European Commission security strategy? The Security Union strategy is organized around 4 pillars. The first of these pillars covers the protection of key infrastructure and networks. Think of it this way. EU countries must identify critical services like power plants, hospitals, and communication networks. They evaluate risks and implement protective measures to resist potential disruptions. This could involve securing IT systems, diversifying energy sources, and having backup plans in place. The second pillar focuses on new threats. The European Commission is acting to counter the rise of disinformation and misinformation, especially online. Major technology companies and platforms are now accountable for content they host and have taken commitments to take down illegal content, in some cases within a record time of 1 hour after posting. The strategy's third pillar is to fight against organized crime and terrorism. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, terrorism, radicalization, and cybercrime are...
And if you notice, there's a uptick in these lesser luminaries on the left-hand side, whether they be athletes, actors, crying out about the human traffic situation. Okay, a lot of them are down with the agenda, but they're used to bring, emotions out. Like this dude, Ryan Garcia, he's a boxer. He just threw it out there. They kidnapped me and, dragged me into, the forest and made me watch children get raped. I have the footage. And then he wins the fight, and it never comes out the footage. And people will, heralding him as this hero, and he came up against the deep state. He came up against the Illuminati. All right, come on, man. You had all kind of, those movies that were coming out, which, again, a lot of those people, like that dude who played in The Passion of Christ, he just recently did a movie going into the trafficking situation. So again, they're bringing all of that out for bringing a solution, man. And you registered online, through your digital ID, all of this will be the solution, man. And eventually the charagma, as things are so out of control, cybercrime, all of this crime, people taking money and playing with it and using it to lie, all of these various different situations, man,
are among the main priorities being addressed by the Commission. The strategy establishes specific approaches to each type of threat, using a combination of legislative tools, cutting-edge technology, and joint investigation teams. This leads to the final pillar, the cooperation among police and law enforcement authorities. They have 2 organizations at the European level, Europol and Eurojust, and they are given reinforced responsibilities. Europol to act as a hub for different police agencies, and Eurojust to coordinate judicial cooperation and prosecutions. NATO is cooperating with the European Union on cyber-terrorism and on security implications of climate change.
And America's a part of NATO. In the EU, this is the beast system that rules the earth, headed by Babylon the Great, all right, NATO and the EU. That's the beast system, all right? And if you don't worship their policies, if you don't bow to their policies and what they're bringing, all right, you're going to be outlawed from society. And as the scriptures say, through his craft, which this beast system started with the Greeks. So what we're getting ready to read, this is actually speaking of Antiochus Epiphanes. You can read about him in the book of Maccabees, but that, again, that which is then is now. All right, Daniel 8:25, and through his policy, He shall also cause craft to prosper in his hands. His craft is prospering through the policies he's already forewritten. All right. But the necessary actions have to happen on earth, which they're forcing them. They're creating all of these problems. Okay. You're getting all of these random numbers calling your phone, your bank accounts. You look into your bank account, $800 is gone. People all around the world, you know, taking your credit card information and, you know, nigga buying 18 hot dogs. You know, you're looking at the thing. I ain't buying no hot dogs. Well, that's all being done on purpose. They're allowing these things so that they can bring a solution, man. See? So he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall he destroy many. So bringing peace is actually going to be a way to destroy your ass, to devour you, to bring about unrighteous decrees. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. He's going to they're literally going to fight Yahweh Shai. Okay. And again, as the scriptures say, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. All right. But against the rulers of the darkness of this world, which we'll end off on that. But we can clearly see, all right, that cyber terrorism, all of these various different problems that are being presented need a solution, and they need a solution fast. Okay. EU's controversial digital ID regulations set for 2024, mandating big tech compliance by 2026. So they're moving forward with this plan. John the Revelator did not lie. At the end it shall speak. It's speaking. Any prophet who's saying what we see before us has nothing to do with John the Revelator saw. They're completely wicked or blinded or took the bag. Okay, this should be talked about. EU's new digital ID rules. Okay, the modern day Tower of Babel being built. You will have to, you know, we will become one. Everything's being boasted about everybody being one. The one world rule. All right. They have the red heifer over there, which we'll tap into that a little bit, in so-called Jerusalem, you know, which that whole thing is boasting of uniting, you know, the Abrahamic religions, you know, the Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all uniting. Everything's being what? All right, pushed about being one. Let's get this as well. When they shall say peace and safety. Hey, and call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. We need these things to happen. Okay, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and 1. But of the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you, because you should have rulers and leaders over you. All right, not rulers, leaders, but the scriptures do say obey them to have rule over your soul. All right, but your leadership should very well have you in position to where you're discerning the times, to where you're vigilant about, you know, what will be going on before the Lord came. You should be very in tune with that. That's being in the spirit. This is why we have to throw the flesh away. It's not going to get us anywhere. All right, we enjoy things. We enjoy music. We enjoy sex. We enjoy, you know, companionship. We enjoy, you know, eating, drinking, being married to a degree. All right. But we can't tap into those things. That can't be what's at the forefront right now. Even, you know, children, all of these things have to be on the back burner, especially if you're on the front lines of this spiritual war. All right. So again, as I say, any of you individuals who are in league with any of the men of the Lord who are teaching his word, your job is to be as much as a comfort to that man as possible. We don't have time for your stupid emotions and distractions. Just going to call it what it is, because these are the times we're in. You'll appreciate the severity and the seriousness of the prophets when your ass is on that chariot, right? This is what we're doing, the job that needs to be done to get us up out of here under the sacrifice made by Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. We have a sacrifice, and we don't have time for your stupidity. So get your shit together. All right. But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. It's going to come fast, just like in Egypt. All right. The Passover came at midnight, right? All right. While the Egyptians were sleeping comfortable Well, hey, it's going to come as a thief in the night, man. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And the fulfillment of prophecy is what Esau's trying to fight up against. And again, the pains that come with a pregnancy, a woman, you know, they can't escape that. Esau tries to give them that epidural, they could still be in pain. So let's read this in the NLT. When people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, security, who's going to be saying this? The rulers. We ain't in a position to tell nobody things are going to be secure in a world sense. We're telling you that in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. See? Everything is peaceful and secure. This system is what's going to bring you peace and security. This is why they're allowing all of this crime and all of this wickedness to go on. All right? Fixed, fastened, so not to give away, to become loose, not to be lost. Firm, fixed, secure, locked. That digital system will bring that security. Then disaster will fall upon them suddenly as a pregnant woman's labor pains begin. I mean, there's no way, you're not going to get around it. You see what I'm saying? But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. So you should be very well informed through the men of the Lord teaching you the truth, singing the new song in its proper, playing skillfully. As the scriptures say, we're supposed to play skillfully. All right. Ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. All right. So we are playing skillfully. I don't know if it's one L and skillfully through. We need to get out of here, man. Play skillfully. The one singing this new song, Psalms 33:3. Okay, it says, sing unto him a new song, play skillfully with a loud noise. For the word of Yahweh is right, and all his works are done in truth. So we're seeing, all right, the new song being sung, but it has to be played skillfully. So bringing out this information about the MOTB and warning is a fulfillment of the new song, as we just showed you. That's what, all right, the men who are numbers of the 144 will be doing. All right. EU's new digital ID rules are about to come into force, okay, on May 20th, mandating compliance from big tech and member countries supporting the EU digital identity wallet, okay. However, its work is not complete, all right, as several pilots are planned for 2025 to consolidate the process and implementation of the rules. All right, related, Australia's digital ID push is undermined by data leak disaster. So again, they're going to run into many problems. All right, it's not going to work for them, but they will, all right, in a rush, establish something that's going to bring brutal force to the people. Okay. According to the framework European Council passed recently, which has now been officially published, the deadline for digital ID wallet to be recognized and made available is 2026. For now, it will be used in several scenarios, including assessing government services and age verification. All right. Eventually, it'll be for online purposes. All right. So this is on its way. The digital ID wallet is now set to become a reality. So this is the modern day Tower of Babel that everybody will have to engraft themselves into, right? They're going to have to integrate themselves into this system in order to be identified, because we have too many online extremists. We have too many this. We have too many that. We need to know if you took your juice. We need to know if you're eligible to even be free, roaming the earth. Okay. And there's too many people anyway. All right. So this will give us the go ahead to off, all right, as many people as will not comply by law. Okay. So, you know, you can read more on that. This was interesting as well. I saw the elder brother Karatazat from Vegas going in on it. Soon, parts of Paris will be off limits without a QR code. Okay. The French capital, Paris, will be split into zones this summer, with anyone wanting to enter certain areas, all right, required to show a pass on their phone. Okay. A sign of things to come. Special measures will be in place throughout the city as part of increased security around the Olympic Games, which start in July. Anyone wishing to enter certain zones, including residents, will have to apply for a special pass, all right, on a platform run by police. All right. You have to have a QR code, basically. Okay. So, hey, all right. They're moving closer and closer to this system. Okay. Trudeau's proposed hate speech law could apply retroactively and preemptively. Okay. So they can go back. All right. It says you thought that Scotland's hate speech law was bad. So if you see these different members, these beast system countries are at the forefront of pushing these agendas. And if you notice, the countries around the world are joining with them to push this all as well, man. If you thought Scotland's hate speech law was bad, get a load of this. Justin Trudeau's government in Canada, all right, a part of NATO, has proposed its own hate speech legislation that could be applied to anything said or posted in the past, present, or future. Okay? The bill's known as C-63, 6 and a 3 again, known as the Online Harm Acts, the Online Harm. See, online harm. We need safety. We need peace from all of this hell, okay? Proposes potential prison sentences and huge fines for anyone who engages in wrongthink. All right? And then they have AI, which AI is going to be biased. It's programmed to be biased to the truth. So they'll be able to target those who are of upright conversation. We always go into this, nothing new, but, you know, we're just showing you that we're getting closer and closer to these things becoming reality. Okay? Now, some are suggesting that proposed legislation leaves the door open for it to be applied to past speech indiscretions. So it may sound so insane that Elon Musk asked community notes to fact check, resulting in a clarification, all right, only that the legislation is not a law yet. So again, these are unrighteous decrees that are prescribed, right? Prescribed, meaning they're already written down. What we're witnessing are the necessary things happening in earth to justify it. Okay, to justify implementing these unrighteous decrees. Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Okay, so they've already have these laws in place. They just need the necessary things to keep taking place. Okay, and again, like I say, we're, you know, 1 to 3 catastrophic events away from them applying these things as law. Okay? Can look more into that if you would like to. Okay? Polling shows how massively unpopular Scotland's hate crime law is. This is the new Rome. Okay? Hate crime laws. And again, we're required, all right, according to the scriptures, to hate evil. That is a commandment of all Israelites. We are commanded to hate evil, all right? Now, does this mean we go and take up the sword or physically try to harm people? No, but there are things we speak against that we are outright against that they are going to deem law, and if you don't bow to it, all right, you can't be a part of this system. Psalms 97:10, ye that love Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. He delivered them out of the hand of the wicked. So you will be pressured to bow the knee. The fear of the Lord, Proverbs 8:13, is to hate evil, pride. All right. And this whole alphabet agenda is centered around pride. Okay. And arrogancy and the evil way and a froward mouth do I hate. All right. These people have a very froward mouth. Okay. Looking at some of the things that they're, doing. Okay. I mean, it's clear. All right. That, they're forward. UN troops to be deployed across the U.S. as Pentagon prepares for civil unrest. All right, and here, yeah, I had this. WEF-funded professor calls for involuntary depop to save the planet. Okay, and this speaks to Revelation, the 6th chapter. Okay. This is really what they want. Okay. And a lot of you Americans think Trump is going to save you. He's going to come in with some draconian. If he becomes president, he's just going to go crazy. Okay. They use the two horns like a lamb to draw you all into this point to bring Draco to your ass. Draconian measures, man. Okay. Let's see here. He said, if I am brutally honest, the only realistic way I see emissions falling as fast as they need to avoid catastrophic climate breakdown is the culling of the human population by a demic with a very high fatality rate. So we see the talking of these new dis, all right, eases. That's what it means. Dis, not ease. Your body is not at ease, but we see the talking point of now this bird flu thing. So who knows what the hell they're getting ready to do. I know something just doesn't feel right in the spirit, and that these elites got something going on. And as a matter of fact, I thought this was interesting too. 'Cause they're preparing for something. They have no choice. Give me 1 second here. One second here. If you brothers and sisters may have heard, the Vatican is preparing guidelines for apparitions. Let's see if I can pull this up. Here we go. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and end this off in a minute, and I'll come with the rest of what I had, Lord willing, later or tomorrow. Demai. Future. No, that ain't it. Yep. Vatican preparing guidelines for apparitions and other supernatural phenomena. What are they doing?
Welcome to UFO Soldier. Today we're diving into something a bit different, but equally mysterious, a supernatural phenomena, and how the big guns at the Vatican are stepping in to manage the mysteries. So the Vatican is gearing up to release a brand new set of guidelines on May 17th, specifically designed to help us discern the real deal supernatural occurrences from the, well, not supernatural. We're talking visions of saints, divine apparitions, and maybe a miracle or two. Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez, a key figure from the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith, is the man of the hour. He'll be presenting these guidelines in a live stream that I'm sure will have many glued to their screens. Now, you might wonder, why? The way I understand it is in our age of viral content and mass media, it's super easy for any claimed miracle to spread like wildfire, possibly causing more confusion than clarity. The Vatican's goal? To ensure that any recognized phenomena really have that divine stamp of approval, protecting the faith and keeping the truth in check. Because let's face it, in the business of mysteries, both divine and extraterrestrial, authenticity is key. So stay tuned, as we'll be covering the release and diving deep into these guidelines. Will they reveal new secrets or just confirm the old? Either way, I'll be keeping my eye on it, to break out UFOs, aliens, I don't know, but together we will find truth.
Let's see. And there's so much falsity out there. You know, AI is able to do anything, man. They got the Pope with a puff jacket on. That they got to get control of this thing. See if this one gives us a little
The Vatican
more.
has just shared some shocking news that you will not believe. They're working on a new document with clear guidelines for understanding apparitions, and it's a lot darker than they are leading you to believe. But what exactly is in the document? And what exactly does this mean for the future of the Church? Well, let's find out. Back in 1978, during the twilight of Pope Paul VI's time as pontiff, the Vatican's doctrinal office released a comprehensive document on apparitions. But now, decades later, the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith is on the brink of unveiling something new. Cardinal Victor Fernandez, the head of the Dicastery, revealed that they're just about ready to roll out a fresh set of rules for discerning apparitions and other supernatural occurrences. In a recent conversation on April 23rd, Cardinal Fernandez shared that they are in the final stages of drafting this document, which will provide clear guidelines and norms for this intricate process.
If you notice, the Catholic Church, the false prophet, which is located in Rome, or the Vatican, all right, which when you look at the church, it's in the form of, you know, I'll always bring it up. See if I can bring it up. Clearly, this is that old serpent called the devil and Satan, as you'll see. But they're at the forefront of a lot of this NWO talk. Now, why would they make a room that looks like this? This is the Lord working through them. Why do they have all these demonic... That's clearly a serpent. See that? Two fangs. This is a serpent. This is the serpent, man. That old serpent called the devil and Satan. Why do they have all of this weird satanic symbolism? And what the hell are they preparing for?
Despite meeting with Pope Francis in a private audience earlier this week, the Cardinal remained tight-lipped about the document's specifics and its release date. But did you know that this marks a significant development, since the last time the Vatican tackled such a topic was over 4 decades ago, as Pope Paul VI's pontificate drew to a close? Now, before I reveal the big news, let's take a moment to understand what an apparition really means and how it operates. An apparition occurs when Jesus Christ, the Blessed Virgin Mary, or one of the saints appears to someone. Sometimes the person who witnesses the apparition receives a message along with it. You might be familiar with some famous apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary, like Our Lady of Guadalupe.
And these people are completely off. This is all idol worship. This is all left hand. Again, what do we say? Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Because he's going to deceive people by many miracles, man. Okay? Damn, we were supposed to get that, but that article passed. Revelation 13:14, and it deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast system. All right, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast who had a wound by a sword and did live, ancient Rome. Okay, and you're bowing to ancient Rome through this system. Okay, which they have more room to play with, more power, more tricks up their sleeves, and Satan's with them. The man of sin is being revealed. You can't see that this is the wicked. All right, these ain't no dark-skinned black men with red hair. These are Edomites doing all of this wickedness, man.
In Mexico in 1531, Lourdes in France in 1858, and Fatima in Portugal in 1917. True apparitions all have one thing in common. They guide us towards Jesus Christ and repeat what God has already revealed through him. God allows these apparitions out of his love for us, to remind us of the gospel message and bring us closer to Christ. It's similar to a caring mother gently reminding her children of what's important for their well-being. Throughout history, the Blessed Virgin Mary has appeared for this purpose, guiding us closer.
And Mary ain't gonna appear to nobody. Okay? That's the Queen of Heaven. That's all left-hand, satanic, all right, rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
To her son, Jesus Christ. But how is the authenticity of an apparition determined? Well, here's where things get really interesting. It's the responsibility of the bishop of the diocese to judge whether an apparition in their area is genuine or not. However, not all alleged apparitions receive approval from...
So they're getting ready to do something. All right, these Edomites got a lot going on, boy. Sheesh. The red heifer.
The red heifers have finally reached Jerusalem. That's right. There hasn't been a red heifer in the land of Israel in over 2,000 years. Now, if you don't understand the significance of this, basically, in Jewish culture, they believe that a red heifer is the perfect sacrifice that must be offered to usher in the return of the Messiah. And...
yeah, so they're getting ready to do something, man. And the scriptures say the sacrifices of the wicked are an abomination, man. And we're not commanded, all right, to offer up a red herring sacrifice to usher in the return of the Lord. We're required to make our bodies a living sacrifice. Yahweh Shai's sacrifice fulfilled everything we needed. And they're talking about building the third temple. We are the third temple. Okay? Proverbs 15:8. The sacrifices of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. All right. Proverbs 21:27. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind? So you have these Edomite Christians and small hats going back and forth. Overall, all of them are wrong. Okay. Ain't no third physical temple going to be built to usher in the coming of the Lord, man. This is all right, left-handed, as we were saying here. You have to put on the whole armor of the Most High that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. These are all wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. All right, wherefore, take unto you the full armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the evils in that day, having done to stand. All right. Standing, therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. All right. First of all, understanding that he resurrected. That right there gives you a faith that is impenetrable. All right. Shod and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. And that's what we're doing. That's why Yahweh Shai washed the feet of his disciple, the feet, so that they can go and bring the good news, man. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, man. So faith is ultimately a weapon, man. It's a defense. All right, because these devils are getting ready to come with some stuff, man.
These haven't existed in Israel. It has to be a perfect, spotless heifer to fulfill their own Jewish prophecies. Well, oddly enough, some Christians in Texas started to raise these heifers because some Israelis reached out to them and said what they were looking for. And now the first red heifers have arrived in Jerusalem, in Israel. They're there right now. And what you're going to get to witness is a Jew encountering the very first red heifers in the land of Israel 2,000 years. But before we get into that, guys, my name is Ruslan, and I've actually had the privilege of going...
yeah, this internet is acting up.
The privilege of going to Israel back in 2022, and I have a lot of friends still in the area. So I think understanding some of these sorts of things helps us get context, which is why we're talking about it. You see, this channel exists to encourage, empower, and inspire you to live a life that blesses God. So if you're new here, or if you're not...
and everything that they're doing undermines Yahweh Shai. Okay?
New here, please make sure you subscribe, as we're edging on 600,000 subscribers. And it would mean the world to me if you help me reach that goal. All right, let's jump into the video. This is some crazy stuff. Shout out to the Israel guys are Christians, and the
real red heifers. So the red heifers are actually the key to the temple and the temple mountain. It says in the Bible that the temple is called the house of life. It's a house full of the presence of the Lord, presence of God. And if one got in contact with death in a funeral, in a hospital, so he has to go through a process.
And Apostle Gabar just did a video going into the true third temple is the elect, is being built in a sense that of the faith and believers coming together, starting with the men of the Lord. But we'll get into more of that. I mean, as you can see, this devil has a lot, and I mean a lot going on. Let's just read through some of these articles, titles. All right. You got a lot of people being destroyed by that juice, and they're coming out. All right, and lawsuits are being filed. That's why there's a lot of this mess going on to distract you. Esau's losing. Gil Bates launched a scheme to chop down America's forests to save the planet. Oh, man. Artificial Northern Lights, HARP. Yeah, these devils got a lot going on, man. Goodness gracious. If you can't see that the man of sin is being revealed, then I don't know what to tell you. All right. Maybe I'll just read through some of these articles on another lesson, because this internet is starting to act up. But yeah, your boy Biden's daughter is coming out talking about, you know, how, you know, the pedo behavior. AI has learned how to deceive humans. So they're getting ready to come with something. Plummeting fertility levels. Yeah. Interesting. Melinda abruptly quits foundation as rumors swirl about Gil Bates' imminent arrest. Yeah, we'll see. He's going to be arrested when Yahweh Shai, when the angels come. After they get, you know, pulled out of those bunkers. Ashley Biden confirms diary did tell in not appropriate showers with her dad, Joe. All right. So it's coming out that they gave a juice to certain people of higher positions, and then they gave a particular juice to you everyday people. And a lot of you well, something was put in you. We'll see. We just know that a lot of people are being destroyed, dying. So these devils are being revealed. This is why they're getting ready to have to come down with great wrath. They're getting exposed. All right, but we'll be back with more. Hopefully, y'all were edified. Let's see here. Man, that juice is destroying everybody. Hopefully y'all are edified, man. Fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in him only. All right, that power only. All right, as the scriptures say, Revelation, the 7th chapter, and the Romans 11:5. Even so, at this present time, there is a remnant according to the election of grace, which ultimately who are not going to bow the knee to the image of Baal. Shalom.